Good morning, 8th graders. Today we begin reading Mouse by Art Spiegelman. And what I would like for you to do today is to just familiarize yourself with the book. So I would like for you to read the inside cover so that you can see the summary of what's going to happen. I would like for you to read the back flap as well, to read a little bit about the author. So if you look at the map of Poland on the back, this is where most of the camps were. So you can see that Germany is here. You can see that this is Reich, Third Reich, this part. And then this is general government where they're in control of it. And then finally, we have the part of Poland that was annexed to Russia. So I would like for you to look at this. We have Vladek Spiegelman and Art Spiegelman here talking to each other because they are having a conversation for this entire book. And it also has a small map of Rego Park, New York, where they are telling this story. So if we're talking about this book as if we were in class, I would ask you what is unique about this cover? And we would notice the swastika as well as the cat version of Hitler and the mice version of the Jews hiding underneath. It's possible that this is Vladek and Anya, Art's mom, and hiding on their journey to stay safe during the Holocaust. Many of their friends and family were also prisoners at camps as well. I want to take a moment to discuss the history of the swastika symbol, which is the, you can see the black arms symbol underneath without the cat symbol overlaid to it. And I also want to talk about anthropomorphism, which is when you use animals to represent humans. So you can see the relationship between the cat and the mice creates the theme of hunting. You can really see the relationship of the mice being hunted by these cats. So when you start to see other animals in the book as they represent different nations, the animals that were chosen specifically for a reason, either as a symbol of what the nation is known for, or to continue the allegory of using animals as some type of symbol, just like Orwell's Animal Farm, which we read earlier this year. So you can guess what the Americans might be, what type of animal the Americans might be if they're going to chase these cats. So stay tuned for that. As we read Mouse, we are going to take notes on the family history that we learn about the Spiegelman family and about Anya and Mala's families as we move through book one. Book one is mainly setting up the story so that when we get to book two, which is his time at Auschwitz, you can really understand his whole backstory. However, in Mouse 1, he is a prisoner of war, and he talks about how he evaded military service as a young man with his father's help, or mostly his father's guidance. And when I say he, I'm talking about Vladek, because Art is listening to the story and drawing the story of the cartoon, but Vladek is telling the story. So to read the page of the graphic novel, you're going to start on the top left. You're going to go across, you're going to go down and across, down and across, down and across, and then up over here and across, 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 across. It will be pretty straightforward as you're reading, and it will read a lot more quickly than books in the past. And we'll generally read about 1 or 2 chapters a day, and then continue to take our notes. The chapters are about 15 to 20 pages. Some of them are a little bit longer. So for today, we're going to read page 5, which is just kind of an introduction about him as a child. And then the book really begins, and it shows you the table of contents and the title of the chapter. And then we'll read this first chapter, The Sheik. So we're going to learn a little bit about his family. Please take notes on who, what, when, where, why, and how. So who are we talking about? Where are they? Why are we having a chapter? Just give me the general details about that. Please begin your notes in a Microsoft Word document. You can screenshot that to me by 4 p.m. so I can see that today's chapter, The Sheik, has its own set of notes. Tomorrow we will continue our notes section with a brand new notes section. We're not going to keep adding to the same thing. We're just going to track it chapter by chapter. There's one portion in the book that is a voluntary read, and it's called Prisoner on a Hell Planet, and it's a case history of his mother's death by suicide as a result of her trauma from the Holocaust. So when they survived the Holocaust, after Art is born, his mother has some struggles which result in her ending her life. And they draw this chapter out with humans, so it's a little jarring to switch back into the humans. You'll know that it's the chapter because it has the black border on it. You can read the chapter, you can skip the chapter, but the graphics do show her death as, a human. And I just want you to think back on Mrs. Folkroad's presentation on depression and suicide. If you want to review that PowerPoint, it is available on the LMS for those of you that want to think back to some of the reasons that somebody might do that and understand it a little more in depth. So please do not be afraid to reach out to me or to Mrs. Folkroad if you want to discuss that chapter. We won't get to that chapter for several days, but I just wanted to pre-warn you that if you should start to read and you continue to read, it is on page 100 and you will get there and be concerned. So I just wanted to let you know that that was there. You can find people reading this on YouTube. There are several versions of people reading it on YouTube if you like to listen to the audio, but I definitely insist that you follow along with the drawings so that you understand who is who as you work your way through the document. I am also going to include underneath this video a link to the history of the swastika from the Holocaust Encyclopedia website, where it talks about the 3 versions of the swastika and what they have meant over time. So the first stage was where the swastika was long used as a, quote, symbol of well-being in ancient societies, including in India, China, Africa, Native America, and Europe. So if you see an ancient drawing of the swastika, it's not referencing the Third Reich. It was stolen as a symbol by the Third Reich. Secondly, prior to his rise as chancellor in Germany, Hitler designed the Nazi flag in 1920, so much earlier. He combined the swastika with the 3 colors of the German imperial flag, so red, black, and white. And that is why we had the Third Reich with the swastika. And because the swastika meant good fortune, good well-being, political success, that was why he chose that symbol to be the Nazi flag. Finally, Nazi symbols, including the swastika flag, are banned in many countries today because they represent nationalism on the level of ethnocentricity, where the leaders are encouraging their constituents or their followers to conduct genocides on other people that are considered to be inferior. So a swastika today can be a symbol of white supremacy or just neo-Nazism. Neo coming from the new, and Nazism coming from the philosophy of Adolf Hitler's national philosophy of having a superior Aryan race. So to begin today's notes section, I would like for you to visit the webpage, The History of the Swastika on Holocaust Encyclopedia. And I would like for you to write down the 3 key facts right there on the main page, as well as just underneath that, the origins of the word swastika. So I would like for you to summarize that definition of what swastika means, as well as to have those 3 key facts from the history of knowing about this symbol. Okay, so I have summarized them on this video, but I would like for you to also visit the website and to record those 4 pieces of information as we begin our section of notes today for chapter 1. All right, let me know if you have any questions about the book, about the content of the book, about the history of the symbol of the swastika, or any additional World War II questions that you might have. And if I can't answer them, I will reach out to Mr. Tobit and we will get answers for you.